Hey y'all, welcome to the second part of the bookshelf tour. So if you haven't seen part one, I'll make sure I link it up above in the card symbol or whatever that thing is so that you can watch it. This part is going to primarily cover the rest of my young adult collection, as well as my manga, my comics, my graphic novels, my middle grade children's and picture books. So I hope you enjoy and leave me all the comments and tell me what your favorite book is that you see on my shelf. Bye. All right, y'all, here we are on the other side of the room where the lighting quality actually is a lot better. I have some pins that I keep up there, but this is still continuing from the YA shelf. This is some more YA contemporary, and then, which I think is kind of ironic that I just now noticed this. That whole stack right there is Angie Thomas and Nick Stone, and it's just weird how all their books are in black, red, and white. I don't know if that was like an intentional thing, because they don't have the same publisher, but okay, whatever. I have some stuff by Tiffany D. Jackson. The only one of these I have not read yet is The Weight of Blood. Killing Mr. Griffin. I have a video coming out about that pretty soon. All of this stuff is a mix of like historical fiction. One of those is a classic, and that is The Outsiders, but most of that is historical fiction. Oh, and Speak is up there. Love, focus for me, camera, thank you. Love, The Awakening of Malcolm X. The sequel to The Davenports is coming out. I still haven't decided how I feel, because I gave The Davenports like 3.5 stars, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. We have more historical fiction over here. Let's see here. Salt to the Sea is one of my favorite Rita Sepetys books, and I have the rest of her stuff. Fountains of Silence, Out of Easy, Between Shades of Grey. These two are connected. Copper Sun. Love Copper Sun by Sharon Draper. Such a good book. We get down here. I have some nonfiction. Two by George M. Johnson, stamped for young adult, and this is because of source books. I have all of these Natalie D. Richards books. I just read one of her books probably about a month ago now, and it was 15 Rules for Survival, something along those lines, but it was a decent read. And then this is where we start a new kind of breakdown of medium and genre. So I use that flower as kind of like a breaking point. We have another elephant here. This is where the manga starts. I do have a manga missing here that I was using for something else, but this is my Uzumaki collection. Not Uzumaki. This is my Junji Ito collection. And I don't know what, there's something missing there, and I can't remember what actually is in there, but I pulled something off clearly. And then I have some of my darker manga series. So as we get down to here, we have some Naruto, which had Atelier, Black Butler. I've read some of Naruto, I've read some of Judge, read some of Black Butler, read first volume of Demon Slayer, which is on the shelf, read some of Chainsaw Man, read the first volume of Beastars, Crazy Food Truck. That was a weird series that I don't know if I'm going to continue. Same thing with Shadow House. I don't know if I'm going to continue that. Spy Family, and then the infamous Food Wars. Okay, so I have a lot of the Food War series. I have about half of the volumes that are out, and I've read all the way up to this point, volume 21. I have Beauty and the Beast of Paradise Lost, which I've read and really enjoyed. Candy and Cigarettes, read that one. Not for everyone. Okay, and then we get here. I have more Food Wars. Miss Koizumi Loves Ramen Noodles is such a good series. And it's only 3 volumes, I think, so I should finish it out. I still haven't started Yona, y'all. I know everyone loves Yona. I haven't started it yet. The Ancient Magus Bride. I've read a couple of volumes of that. The Apothecary Diaries. Love, 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 love. I'm up to volume 5 of that one. Otherworldly Izakaya Nobu. I've read all 3 of those volumes. Blue Lock. I've read one of those. If you like soccer, you like sports manga, that's a good one to check out. I have read My Hero Academia, never continued it. Kaguya-sama Love is War. I've watched the anime, and I don't think I've watched some of the anime of Haikyuu, but I haven't read this yet. Another sports manga. Sorry for the shakiness that's about to occur. I had to adjust myself there, and so y'all can see a little bit better. Okay. I own Blood on the Tracks 9, 10, 11 by Shuzo Oshimi. I am up to date on this. Volume 16 just came out, and so I am going to put myself on hold for that at the library. However, mind you, I am not particularly happy with the direction of the series at this point. So there's that. I have all of Nana except volume 1. And I am hardcore about to do a whole entire, 1 and 3. I don't know why I have volumes 1 and 3. This is one of the first Josei series that I've ever encountered, and I love it. But unfortunately, it's on hiatus. And I don't know if Aizawa is ever going to pick it back up. Unfortunately, I don't think so. Why I have volume 22 of Food Wars there, your guess is as good as mine. I'm not sure why that volume is there. Then I have the 30th, or is that 20th anniversary? It's the 20th anniversary edition of Paradise Kiss. Dinosaur Sanctuary, perfect for fans of Jurassic Park. I'm on volume 2 of that series. We have a couple of things that I have been working on and have caught up on some of this stuff. So The Promised Neverland volume 1 I have read. Very, very weird ending. Not what I anticipated. Ladies on Top was okay. I wasn't a huge fan. I've read all 6 volumes of If I Could Reach You. This is a Yuri title. I literally only have 1 volume left of this series to read, right? But I'm so frustrated, and I've been so utterly frustrated with the series that I have not felt pressure to read volume 7. This is a Yuri title where the main character falls in love with her brother's wife. Was she fiance or wife? And it was not always well done. So, just some aspects of it just didn't make sense. And so I just, I didn't feel pressure to get volume 7. Here you'll see I have a little bit of Sweat and Soap. I actually just recently finished this series for my 30 and 30 challenge, which I'm super behind on. By the time this video goes up, I could have or could not have completed the challenge. Imakoi, Now I'm in love this series. I need to catch up. I think I'm like 6 or 7 volumes deep into this one, but I started reading this on the Viz app, and so I stopped collecting it physically. And then Perfect World, I read volume 1. This is what some of it looks like. So the main character, he's in a wheelchair after an accident, and I believe they went to high school together, and there's some internal ableist kind of ideas that are in that, and not intentionally, but she's learning, and some of it though was kind of still a little on the frustrating side. And so I haven't continued on with that series just yet. Although I should, and I need to, because I own some of the volumes. As we go down, I have... Okay, so here goes another series. This one's interesting too. Okay, so Days of Love at Seagull Villa is a 3-volume series by Steamship that I have strong feelings about as well. There is an incest dynamic in that book that I did not like. And I believe it is only 3 volumes, and I just couldn't do it, y'all. I just could not bring myself to do it. And so I decided to pass on finishing that one. I may just go ahead and sell those 2 volumes. This is why I don't like to buy manga without trying it first, because they're so expensive and they read so quickly, and there's always that chance that you won't like it. I read My Androgynous Boyfriend a while ago, volume 1, but I stopped reading it not because I didn't like it, but because this one was out of print for so long because of the paper shortage. I could not find that, and I finally was able to get my hands on it, but by that time I just had not continued with the series. Another Steamship title that I have not continued with, Fire in Its Fingertips. I've read all 4 of these volumes, and I'm not gonna lie, I struggled with volume 4. There was some content in this one that I did not like, and I don't know if I'll ever go back to the series. That may be another one that I end up selling. Game Between the Suits, another Steamship title that I thought was okay. It was fine. Boys on the Riot, absolutely adore it. I started reading that one for the Trench Readathon. My fave. Love them. This one I got, Yagi the Bookshop Goat, was very, very random, but also very, very good. I started Yakuza Lover, wasn't a huge fan. Don't know if I'll continue with it. Watakoi, I still have not started. Night of the Ice, I haven't started. My Love Story, I have read some of that. I haven't started My Dress Up Darling. Then on this side down here, we have Yakuza Fiance, which I enjoyed. I read volume 1 for 30 and 30 last year and loved it. So I will continue. This is another Steamship. I have Princess Jellyfish, and then Hot Gimmick, which I also haven't started. Down here I have some of my bigger titles, like the Sailor Moon Eternal Edition, and then Attack on Titan, the Colossal Edition, Inuyasha, this Big Edition. I have the first 3 volumes of Fruit Baskets, the collector's editions. We have 20th Century Boys, Urasawa, who I adore. This is also one of Bree's favorite mangaka. Bree universally put the entire booktube community on Monster. So there's that. And then I have 5 centimeters per second, which I think is supposed to be a pretty heart-wrenching manga, which I got that secondhand, you could tell some of the yellowing on that. And then over here I have a little bit of a gap because I'm just leaving some space to fill in if I need it. But actually Berserk this is the deluxe edition of Berserk, by the way, and it's absolutely massive. I will read that at some point soon. And then this should also be moved. This is the complete collection of, I'm gonna move this stuff like this, but that's a complete collection of the Silent Voice volumes 1 through 7. I've read, I think maybe like the first 2 or 3 volumes of that, and have enjoyed it. But this is where we start with the graphic novel and comic collection. So I have the complete set of Lock and Key by Joe Hill, and illustrated by Gabriel Rodriguez. We did that for the, the Realm Comics Book Club last year, and really, really enjoyed it. Okay, so this is where I keep some of my trades and stuff for the comics that I read. Up top, you can see I have the Bitterroot, the complete, all of the volumes in one bind up. Thank you, Tia. It's absolutely gorgeous. And then I have these editions of DC Comics and Marvel year by year. which I need to get the newest versions of them because they're getting old. This is another, see if I can move that. Those are some single issues that I actually need to, this stuff has been done. Oh, and I didn't even show y'all. I have all of Tokyo Ghoul up there. That's a complete set. It's a lot of stuff that y'all don't see on camera. Okay. That is also up there, the Marvel Encyclopedia. But I think all of these have been updated, so I need to look at newer editions of those. But on here, we have, I love this shelf, y'all. If I have a shelf that's like my favorite shelf, this shelf right here is probably my favorite shelf. So we have, this is the slipcase of Something is Killing the Children, which, thank you, Brandy. Brandy got me that a while ago. And then we have some stuff up here that I just love. Classic Alan Moore. We have Harleen up here. Criminal Sanity, which is like, if you like Criminal Minds, that's that's what that's like. We have some of my favorite stuff that Tiny Ann has done, which primarily we're talking about Joker here, is my favorite. Then we have Far Sector, which a lot of people in the booktube community have loved. I have some Infinite Frontier stuff up here. A lot of Infinite Frontier, Future State stuff. A lot of Batman. Some of the Joker War stuff. Fables. And I try to organize it by, like, publisher, but it is what it is here. So if you could tell, I have a lot of DC stuff. Vertigo was an imprint of DC, so that's why I have so much Vertigo stuff over here. And then more Tiny Ann, because you can never have too much Tiny Ann. This is just another kind of like everything you need to know book. I think I found that one secondhand. Over here is where we have some of my stuff from Marvel. Mainly collecting Black Panther and Miss Marvel here. A little bit of X-Men stuff. The original Runaways. That this one is a little different though. So this does not match. It's the same series, but it doesn't match. And I mean, I'm not a huge, it's not a make or break for me, but it's always interesting to look at. And then I have some Myths and Legend stuff about Marvel. These are where I keep my single issues. I have another set of single issue stuff up here, but this is some of the single issue stuff that I have that's signed by the writer, Stephanie Williams. This is, of course, Nubia. Love it, love it, love it. Absolutely love it. And then here I have some of my stuff starting with Image. So I have IDW, Dark Horse, a little bit of Kaboom, but then we start heavily with Image. Have Bitterroot here, just that first volume, even though I have the big, like, compendium. And then here, once again, this is the Image stuff. I have all of The Wicked and the Divine. Morning Glories has been on hiatus for a long time, and I don't know if it's ever coming back, to be honest with you. I have some, like, single volumes of series that I've started. Most of the stuff for the shelf I have read. So there's that. That's why I didn't stop and talk about that. Most of the stuff I have read. I have some of the Archie comics, Scott Pilgrim, the entire set. Over here is a restart of graphic novels. These are mainly young adult graphic novels, and then I'll show you like the middle grade graphic novels that I have, but some of them not middle grade. My favorites here, some of these are nonfiction, kind of, sort of. Mouse is fiction, nonfiction-y. It's like, I'm a Wild Seed, They Called Us Enemies, my favorite. Persepolis, y'all know I talk about that book all the freaking time. Wash Day Diaries is a favorite. I was disappointed by Crumbs. Was not blown away Love The Prince and the Dressmaker. Love The Magic Fish. Everyone's huge fans of Heartstopper. I still need to go back to check, please. I read volume 1. American Born Chinese is great. These are a few that I haven't read. I'm going to drop down. So my dining room table is here, so this is going to be kind of hard for me to shoot. But this is where we get into like the middle grade in children's graphic novels. So Sheets, Witch Boy, I've read all of those. Ghosts, Raina Telgemeier, I love. I haven't read any of these, but Stargazing, Drama, all of Shannon Hale stuff I've read. Twins is another good one. And then, of course, here we have New Kid, Class Act. Love Jerry Craft. And then Akisi, I haven't read, but I've read from that author before. This is where we get into some more of like the lower middle grade children-ish kind of graphic novels. These are the DC, these DC ones that they put out for younger readers that everybody loves so much. And I have one Babysitter's Club, a little bit of the Rick Riordan Presents that's been adapted. And then we start, as you can see in this corner right here, we're starting to jump into our middle grade. With the middle grade shelf, this is always going to be a very, very hard, weird angle because of the dining room table, and I don't have space to really back up. So I'm going to try to shoot it as best as I can, y'all. But I apologize for how this is not going to exactly work the way that I want it to work. Okay, so this is where we start with Rick Riordan and Rick Riordan Presents. This is the illustrated copy of The Lightning Thief, and then we have Percy Jackson and The Olympians. I really do need a new set of these, but I've been hard-pressed not to part with these specific copies of the series because this is how I first read the series. I read them with those copies. I got them secondhand, and so there's some sentimental value to those, but there's so many editions of them out now at this point, I really could afford to get a new set of copies. Then we have Heroes of Olympus. Some of my copies are missing because I'm currently reading that series. And then we have Magnus Chase. We have The Red Pyramid, or I should say The King Chronicles. Then down there is Daughter of the Deep and The Cursed Carnival, which are kind of, those are both standalones that, well, The Cursed Carnival is related to the Rick Riordan Presents stuff, but the Daughter of the Deep book is, so you guys can see it. This is where my Rick Riordan Presents collection kind of starts here. We have Jose Older's series, which this technically is young adult. The Outlaw Saints series, this is technically young adult, and I think that honestly they were experimenting with whether they wanted to keep the Presents books as middle grade or kind of let it kind of bleed into young adult, and I think they kind of made that final decision because this now is a young adult, and they have had since this series 2 more young adult books come out. Sal and Gabby, I have 2 copies of Tristan Strong because one was sent to me and I started annotating it, and then I got another copy and it's actually signed by Kwame Mbalier. And then I have some of the other series, as you can see, just kind of going down, which some of them are missing because I am currently reading some of this stuff. Like, I just recently finished The Storm Runner, which honestly I was glad that this was a male protagonist, but it definitely read a little like Percy, a little too much like Percy in my opinion. So it was okay. It wasn't my favorite, which I think that's kind of like a universal opinion, that is not the best out of the Rick Riordan Presents. Here I have the start of my Brandon Mole collection, which is kind of split a little bit. I need to do some reorganization and you'll see what I'm talking about. But I have the Five Kingdoms and the Beyonder series, which all of them have not been open out of their packaging, which I don't know what that says about me at this point, but I need to be motivated to actually read those, because why film them and you don't even read them? So this is where it's going to get really, really tricky, because I'm kind of halfway sitting on my dining room table trying to get to this shelf. So this is where I have my Start of the Keeper of the Lost, and then I am slowly collecting Aaron Hunter's works. This is where we have my collection gets a little intense. This is also one of my favorite sides of the bookshelf, you'll see. It's a lot of middle grade, great stuff over here. The Survivors, I have the Warriors, Bravelands. Some of that stuff is missing because I've been toying with reading it soon. That's the rest of the Brandon Mull that I was talking about, the Fablehaven series, which I started reading last year, and it just got split somehow. I have some of Chris Colfer's stuff, The Land of Stories, and then just a lot of like a mishmash of different things. The Jumbies is over there, which I love and have read. The School for Good and Evil, which I have started. Over here, and I try to keep like the theme behind this shelf. A lot of it is keeping with the fantasy altogether. So we have the Last Kids on Earth series. Oops. Last Kids on Earth series is here. Root Magic, which I just recently read for Black Halloween. Dark 30, which I just recently read for Black Halloween. Dragons in a Bag, which is really good. Joseph Bruchac. I highly recommended The Skeleton Man often as a middle grade, like Native American horror book to check out. But there's been some questions about Bruchac's claim to be Native American. I'm not going to get into that here. I just know it's disappointing. Some more stuff that's really, really good over here. Eden's Everdark is really, really good. Love that. Gallowgate. I have recently started reading a lot more of K.R. Alexander's stuff. He writes middle grade horror, and this one was pretty good. I mean, this cover alone, y'all. The cover is crazy. Another series that I like to always point out is this. Deadlands, which is not getting as much traction as I hoped. If you have a young reader that likes Wings of Fire and likes the Warriors, like the talking animal stuff, Deadlands is like that, except make it Jurassic Park, and it's great. So we have some more fantasy there, Amari, and then we start getting into some mishmash of contemporary. Okay, once again, sorry for the weird angle, but the way that this house is situated, it makes it weird. So there's still some fantasy here, but then some of it's not fantasy. I'm telling you, this shelf is jam-packed, okay? It's pretty jam-packed. So we have Onyeka, third book comes out this year. Super excited for that. Witchlings, love that. Genesis Begins Again, gut-wrenching, but good series. I got the first book in a couple more series, which I don't need to do, including Princess Academy, The Book Wanderers, The False Prince. But this is where we truly do start stepping into the contemporary world here. A lot of this stuff is contemporary. Fighting Words, great book. Gut-wrenching though. Jason Reynolds. Love. The entire track series. Look Both Ways, love it. As Brave as You. A little bit of Renee Watson on this side as well. So you'll see some authors are split. I could move Book by Kwame Alexander to the other side of the room, but I think I'll leave it there. Christine Day, love her. I've read everything that she's written except I think a couple like nonfiction things. And then we have some more contemporary / fantasy, because I really do feel like Cece Rios and the Desert of Souls should be more in fantasy. This is where we get a little bit into mystery, historical fiction. My child put this here because why not? We have One Crazy Summer. Really love that series by Rita Williams Garcia. takes place during 60s Black Panthers. The girls move, or they go to visit their mother in California, and she is very involved in the Black Panther party at that time. Nooks and crannies. Very old British posh mystery that I really enjoyed. Historical fiction here. Love The Watsons Go to Birmingham. It's one of my Christopher Paul Curtis. It's one of my favorite middle grade historical fiction books of all time. If you can, listen to that one on audio. The War That Saved My Life, I love that one. Some more. These two, I believe, also take place in the 1960s in the South. Jewel Parker Rhodes. I had read Bayou Magic, as you can see. I read Bayou Magic, and I wanted to get these other two books that she had written, Sugar and Ninth Ward. Roller Thunder, Hear My Cry. My grandmother had gotten me this book when I was younger, and I could not get into it when I was younger, but I do want to give it more of a try now that I am an adult. I just couldn't really get into it as a kid, but I don't think I could appreciate it as a kid. We have some more historical fiction here. Jennifer Nielsen, always got to have her on the show when it comes to historical fiction. This one I had recently picked up from a secondhand shop. And then we have some horror. So I have some Goosebumps, Steintinglers, and then some books that are non-fiction-y and written in verse as well. But primarily these are non-fiction. These are all primarily non-fiction. So there's another shelf down here, y'all, but it's so hard for me to get to it. I don't think I'm going to be able to get to it effectively, but I'm just going to kind of show you a little bit here. That's where I keep all the picture books. If you would like to see a separate picture book shelf tour, please let me know, but it's the way that this is angled, and I have like a crate right here. It's hard for me to get to that, but I do keep my picture books on the last shelf, and that the bottom shelf of this is not anything worth looking at. It's a bunch of junk.
This empty town was searching for the lost and found, but you don't care, you're unaware.